Okay, for real this time. So we're going to start React today. But before we do, there's a couple of things I want to go over just about regular JavaScript without React. So first I want to build something really small with just React and HTML, with just JavaScript and HTML, so we can remind ourselves like kind of how things used to be done. And then when we get to React, which we will do kind of at the second part of the lecture, we're going to rebuild that exact same thing. And you'll start to see sort of hopefully some of the benefits of React, even though you'll be confused as well, because React there's a lot to it, and it just takes a while to get used to. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about some regular JavaScript things first. So we're going to do a Python JavaScript comparison. So we've been writing Python for a while. It's been a while since we've done JavaScript. And what we have not touched on with JavaScript yet, I don't think, is the concept of object orientation in JavaScript, or specifically classes. We've not talked about classes. Classes are relatively new to JavaScript. You used to be able to do things. You used to be able to like make objects, but the syntax was way different. And so in a recent update, I think 2016. Don't quote me on that. They introduced this class syntax, which is going to look really familiar to you. But I just want to go over it because React uses it heavily. So it's important that we understand it. So if I want to make a person class in Python, who can tell me what to type?
Class person.
Now what? And I have this init function, right? When does this init function run? Every time I create an instance of the class, right? This init function runs. I'm just going to take in a name and a city for now. And then we're going to do self.name equals name. Self.city equals city. What is self here? What does self mean? Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to make many instances of this class. Each instance will have its own name, its own city. And self is me, the instance of the class, that specific instance. Correct. Cool. And then we're just going to do one method. We'll call it say hello. Take in self because it has to. And then we'll just return hello, I am self.name. I am from self.city. Okay, this word wrap going. Cool. And then how do I make an instance of person?
Sign into a variable. City, the person constructor.
Cool. And then let's print, Josh.say hello. Invoke it. I'm going to run this file down here, which I called classes. There we go. So nothing exciting, right? We've done this a bunch of times. It's so exciting. Good. I'm glad. I still think it's exciting too. I didn't want to tell anybody. Okay. Thanks for admitting that. So we're going to do the exact same thing in JavaScript. Now, I'm really doing the exact same thing, just different syntax, right? So, and not even that different. So to do the same thing, I'm going to say class person, still capitalize it. And then I'm going to use brackets. So now we're back in bracket land, right? Everything in Python, when we have a block of, everything in Python, when we have a block of code, we use white space, indentation. In JavaScript, when we have a block of code, we use brackets. So we're back here with brackets. Now I have the same idea as an init function, but it's not called an init function. It's called a constructor function. So same idea though, constructor. It does not need to take in self. We'll talk about self in a second, but it does need to take in whatever I want to create. So name and city. This also needs its own set of brackets. And then I do the same thing, except does anybody know what is self in JavaScript? This, yeah. Same idea, just called this. This dot name equals name. This dot city equals city. Create a function a very similar way. So this is a little bit different. I think before, when we were creating functions in JavaScript, we were doing either function, say hello, if we remember this, right? Or then we also had const. We could save an arrow function, say hello equals. Right, so we had that as well. These are good to review too, because we're going to come back to using this stuff a lot. When I declare a function that's attached to a class, all I need to do is write the name of the function. Say hello, like that, and then like that. I don't need any keyword, and I don't need the arrow function, right? So I can just do it like that. And then we're going to actually copy this exact same thing, and we'll just tweak it. So we'll do this. Where's my word wrap? Where did it go? Is this just so mad it won't? Oh, it doesn't need the word wrap because it's going over. Okay. We don't need this F. We're going to change these to backticks, and we're going to put $signs here. Same thing. Thank you. Yes, I do need to say this. Cool. So now, same idea is on line 12 down here on the Python side. We're going to save it to a variable. Remember, when we make variables in JavaScript, we have to use let or const. I'm going to say const Josh equals. And then to create it, to instantiate a class, it's new person, and then we pass it Josh city. Pretty sure this is correct. Where did my notes go? Yeah, that looks good. Okay. And then we'll console.log Josh.say hello, same exact thing. Come down here and do, node JavaScript, and it's the same thing. Cool. Questions about this?
What's the difference between const and let?
Yeah, const is when we do not expect the variable to change. In fact, we cannot change its value. So we come down here and we say Josh equals like false, and we try to run this. We're going to get an error. Argument constant variable, right? We change this to let, and then we run this. Well, nothing will happen, but it'll run, right? Yeah, and if I printed Josh, it would say false. Yeah, Narayan.
2 questions, really? Could we optionally put function in front of say hello or not?
I don't know. Doesn't seem, my linter does not seem to like it. Is this what you meant?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's not happy about it, and it's exploding in our faces. So bummer. Then I wonder if I forgot.
What did I just say hello?
Put what after? So you can do like, damn it, I don't remember if you can do the fat arrow here. So it'd be like this. Sorry, const. What is this? It's const say hello. Okay. I got it. Equals this. Get rid of that. Like that. Still does not seem happy about that, does it?
Because
I don't think
it's looking at
It's looking at the value at that location. He sets on these.
So this works.
Yeah.
but is it modifiable now? That's what I'm worried about.
Say hello. I don't know. Like, could we change it? And I'm not sure.
And second question, inheritance?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm getting to next. Cool. So other questions about this before I talk about inheritance? Okay, so let's go back over to Python and say we wanted to expand our program here. And so we're going to have a class employee, right? And it's going to inherit from person. What does inheriting from person mean?
from its parent class.
Right. And so we can actually do, I think we can just do pass like that. And we can say equals employee. And I can still pass it the same things, right? Josh, Chicago. And I should also be able to print Josh dot say hello. And I'm making actually an instance of employee, not an instance of person, but I'm inheriting from person. So I get that init method and I get this say hello from it. And so I should be able to do the same thing. Let's see. Where is that? And it'll still work, right? So we're pulling all that stuff down. Now remember, we can overwrite the init, but what do we have to do in the init?
Super.
Yeah. So I can, whoops, that is absolutely not what I want to do. So I can do init and say self. It still takes a name, city, but then let's say we also want like ID, like an employee ID. And then I would super, I don't remember the syntax for this. Does anybody, it's like person? No, it's super, person super. Shit, I forget. Is it?
Super friendly, yeah.
That's it? Like that? And then I can say name, city. I thought you had to do the class, but maybe not. And then self.id equals ID. Oh, ID is probably a protected word. Let's say employee ID. Okay. Come back down here and we'll just say 1, 2, 3, 4. What did I do wrong?
Sure, I remember it.
Let's see if it runs. I feel like it should, but so yeah, super takes one argument. Must be type not string. Super argument 1. We're doing super wrong.
I thought it was like just.
Oh, super.init. That's what it
Yeah.
is. Super.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I knew we were missing something. Damn it.
But it's the conditional argument.
Here.
Yeah, it's something.
Does it
weird.
need
We have to
self?
put, like, name. I forget.
All right. Let's Google it. Let's Google it. I don't remember.
Really not.
Yeah, I would make, yeah, it just takes people. It just takes what it would take.
I think we should start fixing that. I always go with consensus.
Args. Super init self. Does it needs self? No. Yeah, my class self. Were we just missing self?
Yeah, just
Requires super object received a employee. Yeah. Why can't we remember how to do this? We just did this. I don't remember though. I really don't remember exactly how we did this.
I remember how to do products.
Yeah. Say that again, Holly. You put person here? Maybe. Oh, you guys, why can't we figure this out? Okay, so now that I had to pause the recording, so just for the recording, I'm back, and I solved it all by myself without any help from the students. And so now we got it. So we were missing the parentheses here, so we weren't calling super, and we also took person out of there. We could also do person like that and explicitly call the class. Damn it. Why did that not work? What did I do now?
Because now you have person argument.
Oh, in here? Forget it. We're not doing it that way. Do it this way, always. Okay. Okay, cool. So we figured that out. Let's see if it goes just as smoothly with JavaScript. So how do we inherit in JavaScript? The idea is exactly the same. Class employee. And we just use the keyword extends. Extends and then person.
Java.
Is it? Is that how Java does it? Yeah. Java also does like new person like this, right? Yeah. So, so we can extend this. And actually, if I don't write anything else in here, I should be able to change this to employee. And, oops, that's the Python one, sorry. Yeah. There it is, the no one, we're still getting all that same functionality,
So you
right?
don't need to pass in JavaScript.
No. We can override the constructor. I actually don't remember how to do that either. What happens if I do this? Let's say I also want to take in. Yeah. I actually did not do this yet, so let's just see what happens if I do this. Just want to see if it'll still run.
You didn't give it an ID.
Oh yeah. See, I don't think this is gonna work though, because we're gonna have to. I think we probably have to take everything in. Name, city ID,
So this
and
also,
then super name, city. Say that again, or finish that thought.
nope, that's what it is.
That was much easier. Cool. So we just call super. We pass it the name and the city, which is what it expects, and then we can add ID as well. So same idea, all right? Cool. Any questions about object orientation?
And then
So
when
you're not putting the actual ID there, your string from the top one, just so people can see it.
Up here?
Yeah.
Well, then I would have to override the say hello method, which I could do.
Yeah, question.
But
You're
like,
printing out the same string without your ID.
You need
yeah, but I didn't add the ID to the string. Do you know what I mean? Like it's still calling this method from person, which has no idea about the ID.
Right.
But we could still do Josh.id and get the ID. You see that? Sorry, it's like really small down there.
question,
Yeah, go for it.
I see how we do it in Python, super parentheses dot and then the method name, but in it it's just really a method.
Right.
But how would we do that in JavaScript? How would we override because it's just super parentheses?
This,
Yeah, like it's down there in your
I think you would just do say hello. And you would literally just rewrite it.
Okay. When you do super, you have access to all of the instance variables, correct? Through self on this.
When I do, wait, hold on. Say that, ask that question again.
So when you call super, you still
Here.
have access to all of those instance variables through self with this, correct?
Yes. So the employee can still call employee that, like I could still do Josh.name, yeah. Let's see what happens if I do this say hello real quick that I just overwrote. Whatever. Employee. See, so the way inheritance works is like it's gonna go up the chain, but it stops at each place to check. So employee will first check, is there a say hello method in the employee class? If there is, then I'm gonna call that. If there's not, and I see that it extends, I'll go up to person. If person extended from something else, it would go up again until it found the method you called, or couldn't find it and then returned that was not a method you could call, or a function you could call. Cool? Good on this? Okay, cool. So keep this in the back of your head. We're actually going to take a detour from it before we come back to it. We'll come back to it after break. But keep this in your head, and I want to do one other thing. So let's get rid of this over here. And we're going to make a very quick web page together, and then we'll take a break. So I am going to make a HTML file and a JS file. Cool. In my HTML file, I'm just going to put some HTML, and we're going to have a H1. For right now, it just says hello, or it says count 0. And then I want a button. And it's going to say with me. Cool. So what I want to do is I want, every time I click this button, I want my count to increase, right? That's all we're going to build. Can someone give me an idea of how I can get started doing that from here? Does anybody have an idea of how I can get started?
Go to your JavaScript file, find the element question.
You gotta link it first.
What was that one?
You gotta link it first.
Yeah, so that's a very good call. Let's link it first. Now, where do I do that? How do I do that? Do you know how to do that?
It's on the bottom of the body. I don't remember the exact syntax.
No, that's great though. Why is it on the bottom of the body?
It needs to load the HTML file so they can identify the elements.
Yes, 100% correct, right? We're going to be trying to target the H1 in the body and the button. And if we load JavaScript before those things exist, we will have a very bad time. So we'll come down here and we'll do script source equals, I have to do that slash script.js. Wasn't there another thing we needed to add and then I kept forgetting? Do you have to do like type or something? Or did I make that up?
Press like SCR and tab, and it just gives me all the parts. You have that?
No.
Nope.
Unfortunately, I do not have that. Let's just do script HTML tag script. I'm pretty sure, I think we had this problem before, and I was like, why won't it?
We had the wrong.
Yeah. I just can't remember.
Actually, no, that was a link tag.
Are you sure? Was that for the CSS?
Yes, that was the link tag.
All right, let's see if this works. Let's go over here and we'll just do this. Come back over here. Inspect. Okay, you were right. So we're good. So we're good. So we've linked this up. So you said the first thing I want to do is grab what? Both elements? I think we need both, right? Because I need to do something when the button gets clicked, and I need to update this, right? So let's do const button equals document.query selector button, and then const thank you, count equals document.query select, nope, query selector, and we're going to the H1. So I'm selecting this stuff by its element, which is probably not a good idea. Let's come in here and just give these IDs really quick. Let's say my button, so it's not confused. Come back here. We'll say, change this to count. Okay, cool. So now I have these things. So then what's my next move here? Add an event listener. Chad, how do I do that?
For button, so button dot add and I think the first one is click.
Yep.
And then
Yeah. And then let's do And then what do I want to do when that button gets clicked?
You wanna change the inner HTML.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do, we're going to change the inner HTML of the count. So we'll say count. You know what's going to make this way easier for us? Hold on. Is if we do so that's not cheating, it's making it easier, and that's what it's all about. Why make it harder for yourself? Why make it harder for yourself?
And it's like, this is the interesting parts.
Yeah, parsing is screw it. Cool, so now we can just get the number and keep replacing it, right? And we don't have to worry about this count part. I'm like 90% sure this will work. So count is just gonna be that number. So we're gonna say count dot inner HTML equals what though? I think a better idea is to just keep track of a variable and say let like counter, thank you, equals 0. Then when the button is clicked, we will say counter plus equals, sorry, counter plus equals 1, and then counter. Does that kind of make sense?
Is that really better look when you have a global variable?
It's not, well, it's just, what do you mean? Like,
And like if you go to console, you have access to counter
right,
because it's out of the function scope.
out of the event
Yeah.
listener?
Yeah.
But so every time the event listener, we couldn't keep track of it inside the event listener because it would get reset every time the
Yeah,
click.
so I was saying like we converted to from like parsing the the string of 0 to 0 and then plus equal 1
And then putting it back.
Yeah.
That might be better. We only have so much time. But yeah, you're right. That might be better. But for our minimum viable product, I think this will work. Let's see. Sweet.
Yay.
Congratulations to all of us. Okay. So does this, any questions about this? Right? So, yes. So if you reload it, it'll go back to 0. Yes. So it's not really keeping long-term track of, it's not persisting this data. But the entire time it'll keep track. Cool. Okay, so the whole point of doing this was, one, I wanted to just remind you about how HTML and JavaScript interact, because when we come back from break and we start with React, these things are going to be crammed together into one place, right? Right now we're jumping back and forth between files, and this is actually no big deal. This is such a tiny little program. But you can imagine, like, as your programs get way bigger, and you're writing tons of JavaScript, and so you're like, wait, where is the JavaScript that goes with this page? And sometimes you pair things with pages, but sometimes you want the same JavaScript code to run on 2 separate pages. It really, really, really becomes kind of unwieldy pretty quickly, right? So React aims to, it adds a lot of complexity, but once you get past that learning curve, it aims to kind of not only make this easier, but help you write less code in the long run. But still, this principle of I write JavaScript and it interacts with HTML, right? Or I have JavaScript variables, sorry. I have a variable, and so JavaScript deals with the logic, and then HTML is just gonna display it, right? I wanted us to get back in that mindset because we haven't been there for a long time, okay? So when we get back from break, we'll take 15 minutes. We're gonna start with React, and it'll blow your minds. Cool?